You didn't click by accident. And what's about to happen isn't just a video. It's an activation point. Because when this message shows up, it's a sign that your frequency has been touched by something that was already moving inside you. Even before you hit play, your energy had already responded. And now, there's no going back. There are rare moments in life when everything seems to line up. A phrase, a symbol, a sound, and suddenly, you feel it. Not with your mind, but with your body. A subtle vibration, almost unnoticeable, but impossible to ignore. And that's exactly what's happening now. Because in this moment, as you listen to this, an ancient wisdom is trying to reconnect with you. This wisdom has a name, it has form, and it's been hidden for millennia. Not because it was dangerous, but because it could only be revealed to those who were ready. And if this message reached you, it means the time for your vibrational healing has arrived. While most people are still trapped in the illusion of matter, you are accessing an invisible point in reality. And from here, your perception will never be the same. Signs have already started to appear. Sensations in your body, emotions without explanation, sudden intuitions. You're not imagining things. You're waking up to a frequency that Thoth, the master of time and healing, encoded in symbols and vibrations that are now being activated in you. Don't think, feel, because your mind will try to doubt it, but your energetic field is already reacting. And this is just the beginning. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover what this code does, how it works in you, and why your life is about to enter a deep realignment cycle. But first, I need you to do something simple. Breathe. Feel the air coming in. Now breathe out slowly. There. The activation has begun, and Thoth is already here. Energy is the true substance of the soul, and the whole universe is just a vibration of it at different frequencies. In the beginning, when humanity was still groping in the darkness of ignorance, there was a figure who didn't speak out loud, but whose words echoed across dimensions. He wasn't just a scribe, not just a wise man. He was a living bridge between the visible and the invisible, between what the eye sees and what the spirit feels. They called him Thoth. But Thoth didn't write like ordinary men. His writings weren't just letters. They were keys. Each symbol he drew carried a vibration. Each word, a force field. The ancients said he didn't use ink, but condensed light in the form of sound, and that his texts didn't age because they were alive. They pulsed, they waited, and when the right person found them, they activated. Thoth wasn't remembered by chance in different traditions. To the Egyptians, he was the god of wisdom, healing, magic. To the Greeks, he was Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great. To the initiates, he was the guardian of truths that couldn't be spoken aloud. But the most impressive thing is that all these titles point to one single thing. He was the guardian of the code, a code that, for centuries, remained hidden. And now, with everything the world is going through, it's beginning to emerge once more. Few people know that Thoth didn't just speak of the gods, he awakened them. He was seen as the archetype of the awakened mind, of pure consciousness. Everywhere he went, he activated, and everything he touched gained a new purpose. They say it was he who taught the first healers how to heal without touch, that he was the one who revealed to priests how to read a soul just by looking into someone's eyes, that he taught that the human body is a living constellation, and that every point of pain carries a message. Thoth understood that the body, the mind, and the spirit are not separate things, but different expressions of the same vibration. To him, disease wasn't a punishment, but a symbol, a form of communication that arises when we drift away from our inner truth. And that's why he never treated just the symptoms. He read the fields. He listened to the silence. He rewrote people's vibration like someone rearranging a sacred text. In his records, there was a specific order, a sequence of symbols that, when observed in deep meditation, began to interact with the energetic field of the one looking, as if the text itself spoke to the soul. And it's exactly this fragment, this forgotten part of his work, that is now finding its way to you. You're not just listening to a story. You're being reactivated by it. You might be feeling something hard to explain, a warmth in your chest, a slight tingling in your body, an unexplainable emotion. That's no coincidence. It's your field reacting to something it recognizes, because what Thoth wrote, even millennia ago, was meant for you. He knew the day would come when these words would rise to the surface again. And now, you are the fertile soil where this code begins to bloom once more. And most importantly, this code isn't a concept, it's a frequency, a living intelligence that needs a channel to operate. And that channel is you. Since the beginning of this video, something has been subtly rearranging inside you. You're being calibrated to receive the next layer of this transmission, because what Thoth wrote wasn't meant to be read with the eyes, but with the soul. When you realize you're already being healed, and now that this code is starting to move inside you, you might realize that certain ancient symbols are taking on a new meaning, not as distant metaphors, but as real keys that unlock forgotten doors within your own consciousness. One of those symbols is the ibis. To most people, the ibis was just a bird from the Nile. But to the initiates, it was much more. With its long, curved beak, it represented the mind diving into the unseen, reaching into places the eyes can't. Thoth didn't choose this symbol by accident. He knew the ibis was a living way to represent intelligence that goes beyond the obvious. A subtle, refined mind, capable of translating frequencies into form. The ibis was the messenger between worlds, and within that symbolic language is also the emerald tablet. Many have heard of it. Few, however, truly understand what it holds, because the tablet was never an ordinary text. It's a vibrational riddle. What's written there isn't just information, it's energy encoded in words. And among its lines, there's one that's rarely talked about, a line almost always overlooked. But it's the bridge. That line connects the subtle with the physical. It reveals that spirit isn't separate from matter, but pulses within it. It suggests that everything in the body responds to vibrational commands, that illness, emotion, intuition, memory are forms of frequency. And when that line is understood, not with the intellect, but with the body, something begins to reorganize. You don't need to understand it rationally for this to happen. Just listen with presence. Just allow these words to come into contact with your vibration without resistance. Because what was hidden in the tablet wasn't a secret in the usual sense. It was a mechanism, an activation circuit, a vibrational fragment that, once perceived, triggers internal processes. And now, as you remain here, listening to this, that frequency is beginning to reveal itself. You may notice subtle changes, a chill, a different kind of silence, a feeling like time paused for a few seconds. This isn't psychological, this is energetic, because parts of your field recognize this language. They were waiting for this. They knew that at some point in your journey, you would come across this fragment again, and when this code starts being deciphered, it doesn't stop. It's like a sequence of gears that had been jammed and suddenly start turning again. What was stagnant starts to move. What felt heavy starts to dissolve. Not because you understood everything, but because something inside you was recognized. And it's exactly that recognition that starts a process. You're not the one choosing it. You're not the one controlling it. When that vibration is touched, it activates on its own. Because it's not external knowledge, It's a memory of yours. Something that was already part of you long before you were aware of it. And now that it's been touched, it can't be turned off. And when that process begins, it doesn't need your rational permission. It simply happens. It's not a logical decision, not something you think through. It's like your vibrational field received a pulse, and from that, parts of you that were asleep started moving on their own. There's no drama, no show, but there's a different silence inside you. And if you pay attention, you'll notice it. You start noticing small things changing. Details that used to go unnoticed now seem to come alive. A sound, an image, a coincidence. People reappearing, phrases repeating, feelings showing up for no reason. What used to seem random starts to form a pattern, as if reality is responding to your presence in a more conscious way. And that's not your imagination. That's your field reorganizing around the new vibration you've started to emit. It's not a sudden miracle. It's more subtle than that. You start to feel that certain pains don't hurt as much anymore. That certain thoughts, once repetitive, begin to lose their grip. Heavy emotions like anger, sadness, or anxiety still come up, but pass more quickly. And even without understanding why, you feel something inside you is being rebalanced, as if internal parts are finding new places to fit. You might have intense memories in the next few days, more vivid dreams, or even moments of deep silence where you feel a peace you can't explain. That's real. Those are fragments of your energy being released, reorganized, healed. Because true healing doesn't come from outside. It emerges when what's inside starts to be recognized and accepted. And that recognition, even if silent, has the power to move forces that have been stuck for years. You don't need to know the names of things. You don't need to understand spiritual laws in detail. Your body is already responding. Your heart has already noticed. Your intuition already gets what's going on. That's the real vibrational awakening. It's not a pretty idea. It's a living experience, and it's already started inside you. What's curious is that you might even doubt it. The mind will try to convince you that nothing has changed, that everything's just the same. But look a little closer. See how you're hearing this in a different way. See how something inside you feels more open, more sensitive. Perception has started to shift. And when perception shifts, reality adjusts. The invisible law that changes your frequency. What began as a subtle movement inside you is now starting to reveal its deeper structure. There's a force working behind the sensations, the synchronicities, the thoughts that seem to come out of nowhere. A force that operates in silence, but with absolute precision. That force is called vibration. Thoth used to say that everything vibrates, not as a metaphor, but as an absolute truth of creation. Everything that exists in the universe is made of movement. Nothing is still, not the body, not the mind, not what you think is just thought. Everything vibrates at different levels, and each vibration carries information, an intention, a direction. This is the invisible law that maintains cosmic order and also internal chaos. Millennia later, science began to touch on that same truth. Quantum physics discovered that the observer affects the behavior of matter. That conscious presence changes the outcome of an experiment. But Thoth had been teaching this long before. He knew that external reality isn't fixed, but rather a reflection of what vibrates internally in the one who observes it. And that's the point where everything changes. Your energy field, even if you can't see it, is in constant dialogue with the universe. It sends signals, it receives signals, all the time, without pause, without rest. And every thought you have, every emotion you feel, every word you speak, all of it shifts that field. It's like changing the station on a radio. Small adjustments completely change what you start to pick up. And that's why, even without realizing it, many people keep attracting the same patterns. They don't understand that they're operating at a frequency that vibrates repetition, vibrates fear, vibrates scarcity, vibrates self-sabotage, and the field, which only responds to what it receives, reflects that exact reality back. Not out of malice, but because that's the law. And the law doesn't judge, it just works. Thoth understood that the secret wasn't to control the outside world, but to harmonize the inner field. When the frequency changes inside, everything around starts to reorganize. Relationships that used to hurt start to dissolve. Paths that once seemed blocked begin to open. Opportunities show up. But that's not coincidence. That's a response. The universe is constantly reacting to what you vibrate. And the most amazing thing is that you can do this consciously. You can choose the vibration you want to send out. You can adjust what you think, what you feel, what you project. And that's not magic, it's tuning. Just like a musical instrument can be tuned, your consciousness can too. You're not stuck in one single frequency. You're free to change anytime you decide to. And it's exactly when you start to understand this invisible structure of vibration that the teaching becomes embodied. Because Thoth didn't leave this knowledge just as concepts. He encoded practices, sequences, energetic movements that activate consciousness and realign your vibration with almost surgical precision. And one of those practices begins now, as you listen to me. It doesn't require tools. It doesn't require complex rituals. All you need is yourself, your body, your breath, and your intention. Because that's the tripod of vibrational healing that Thoth structured in silence, while the eyes of the world were distracted. The secret lies in uniting the invisible with conscious action. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply. But don't just breathe. Feel the air coming in as if it were light. A soft golden light that touches the inside of your chest. Imagine this light expanding with every inhale. And as you exhale, visualize this light taking away everything that no longer resonates with your truth. Don't force anything. Just allow it. This is the first layer of vibrational visualization. The image becomes a bridge. The breath becomes a channel. And the body, a receptive field. When you unite these three dimensions, intention, image, and breath, a reprogramming begins. You send a new signal to your field, and the field responds. Almost like you're telling the universe, now I remember. Now imagine that this light that breathes in you starts to move. It travels down to the center of your abdomen. It spins gently like a spiral. And there, in the solar plexus, it begins to warm. That area holds deep emotional memories. And that's why so much pain concentrates there. When you warm that space with your attention and conscious light, you begin to melt the blocks that stop the flow of your life energy. Keep breathing. Now take that light to the center of your forehead, right between your eyebrows. This is where the point of inner vision forms. When this region is clouded, intuition gets weak. But when you focus light on that point, something subtle opens up. It's like a lens being cleared. You begin to see more clearly, not what's outside, but what's vibrating inside. These are just 2 points among many that can be activated. But even in a few minutes, this exercise is already capable of shifting your frequency. And when that happens, you start noticing small but consistent changes. You handle your emotions better. Your presence becomes more magnetic. The situations around you start behaving differently, not because the world changed, but because your vibration changed first. This technique was considered sacred in the temples. It wasn't taught to everyone, only to those who had already passed certain inner tests, because to manipulate your own vibration is also to take responsibility for what you create. And Thoth knew that an awakened being is also a responsible one. And what you just practiced now, even if only for moments, already activates a new pattern. Your field is no longer the same. Your mind is no longer in the same state. Your body has already received the new instruction. But this is just the first level, the first key, the first layer of a much deeper system. Because there are even more precise codes, saved for moments like this. And the next one will reveal a part of your essence that's been sealed. How to integrate this healing into real life. And when the energy really starts to move, you feel it. It's not theory, it's not suggestion, it's not imagination. It's real, it's visceral, and you feel it in your body. You feel it in your chest, like something is opening from the inside out. Like something that's been stuck for years is finally trying to come out. And it does come out. It comes out however it can. It comes out through tears. It comes out through chills. It comes out through silence. It comes out through exhaustion. It comes out through an unexplainable urge to change everything, to take a deep breath, to start over. And that's perfect. This is the point where a lot of people get scared. Because when real healing begins, it breaks things down. It reveals. It exposes. It brings up everything you've tried to hide from yourself. Not to punish you, but to free you. Because what you repress controls you, and what you face dissolves. Vibrational healing doesn't happen just to calm you down. It comes to cleanse, to remove what's heavy, what's holding you back, what no longer vibes with who you're becoming. This is when emotions start to scream. Emotions that were asleep, frozen, locked deep in your subconscious. Emotions you learn to mask with routine, with control, with distraction. Now they come up, and they come up strong. Sometimes with old memories, sometimes with no context at all. They just come, because the energy found a way out. And the body, which used to stay silent, is now responding. You might feel a tightness in your chest that isn't physical, but feels just as real. You might feel a restlessness with no cause that forces you to stop. You might have insomnia. You might cry out of nowhere. You might feel like you're going crazy, but you're not. You're becoming lucid. You're waking up from the numbness. You're allowing the layers to peel away. And that is one of the greatest acts of spiritual courage anyone can have. Imagine a river that's been dammed up for a long time. The water inside never stopped existing, but it sat still, collected, heavy. When the dam breaks, the water rushes out with force. It clears away everything that was blocking it, everything that was rotting, everything that was preventing flow. That's exactly what happens inside of you. The emotions are that river. They were there, waiting. And now that you've made room, they're moving. And that's why, at this point, you need to trust. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust your body's wisdom. Because if you try to hold it back, if you fight what's coming up, you interrupt the flow. And what was meant to be liberation turns into suffering. But if you breathe, if you observe, if you feel without identifying with the feeling, something magical happens. The pain starts to dissolve, on its own, without effort, just because you allowed it. This purification is a kind of silent rebirth, a living alchemy. The emotional lead starts turning into vibrational gold. It's not a metaphor, it's transmutation. You start to realize that the pain you were avoiding is actually the doorway to a more authentic part of yourself, a space that no longer needs to hide, or protect, or explain itself. A free space. And that freedom doesn't come from outside. It's born when you stop running from yourself, when you look within with fresh eyes, when you realize you don't have to carry everything alone anymore, that you don't have to shape yourself to be accepted, that you don't have to pretend you're okay when everything in you is screaming for change. And the most incredible thing is that, as this process moves forward, you start to notice that the reactions around you also begin to shift. People who used to irritate you lose their power over you. Situations that used to knock you down now just pass by. You don't become cold, you become grounded. You don't become apathetic, you become centered. Because the energy that once vibrated in chaos is now starting to vibrate in clarity. And at this point, something starts to happen. Your body starts to self-regulate. The energy that used to need commands now starts to act on its own. You enter a state where healing happens effortlessly. It's like the field knows what to do. Like you stop being the operator and become the channel. Vibrational intelligence takes over, and it knows exactly where to begin. The healer that was always inside you. And now that you're aware of this, everything changes, because awareness is the key. And when you turn that key from within, you open the door to something that's always been there, but maybe you never recognized. The healer, the channel, the master, the one you were searching for out there, with so much passion, so much dedication, was inside you all along, just waiting for you to remember. This is the turning point. The moment you stop searching and start radiating, when the search becomes presence, and presence becomes healing. Because when you remember your vibrational nature, you stop being just someone trying to fit into the world. You become the field that transforms the environment around you. You become living medicine. Thoth never wanted to be a god in the way humans made him out to be. He didn't want temples of stone. He wanted living temples. He wanted you to be the altar, for you to be the word, for you to be the channel where the invisible becomes real. The greatest tribute you can offer Thoth isn't repeating his sacred names. It's living what he encoded. And now, you are living it. Because from here on, it's not about techniques or practices anymore. It's about identity, about who you choose to be when no one's watching, about how you vibrate in the silence, in traffic, in the little choices. Being a healer isn't a title. It's a frequency state, and that frequency has already started vibrating in you. You may notice it in the small gestures. People come closer. They feel something different. Situations that used to throw you off no longer affect you the same way. That's not chance. That's field. That's expanding awareness. That's you remembering that you've always been an active part of the mystery. And now that you've accessed this point, there's something that needs to be activated, because this whole path prepared you. Breathing, feeling, transmuting, remembering, all of it brought you here. But there's one last frequency, one final code, a silent activation that needs to be awakened from the inside out, and it doesn't come in words. It comes in presence. It comes in the moment. It comes in the vibration you now carry. Because Thoth's code was never in scrolls or hidden books, it was always in the thing that pulses when you're silent, in what moves your field when you breathe consciously, in what heals when you simply choose to be whole. You don't have to understand everything right now. Just recognize that something inside you already knows, and that knowing doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the field. It doesn't scream. It whispers. And if you made it here, it's because you already heard it. You are the channel. You are the sound. You are the vibration that heals. And no, this journey doesn't end here. In fact, it's only just begun. You've awakened a core, a spark, a code that will expand with every choice you make from this point forward. Because what was activated doesn't deactivate. What was remembered can't be forgotten. And now, if your field resonated with this message, it's because you're ready for the next step. A video was chosen just for you. In it, you'll go even deeper into this activation. You'll understand how to sustain this frequency in your day-to-day life. how the sacred can become simple. Everything's ready. All that's left is for you to click. And the universe already knows you made it this far. If you made it this far, know this: it's not a coincidence. The healing has already started moving inside you. And now I want you to write in the comments, "My energy is my medicine." Write it with intention, with presence. Because when you manifest in the physical what you feel in the invisible, you take a real step toward your transformation. And if this message touched you and you want to help spread this awakening to more people, know that there's a direct link in the pinned comment where you can support the channel. Or, if you prefer, use the thanks button here on YouTube. Every bit of help vibrates and echoes and helps this knowledge reach even further. And don't leave just yet. A special video was selected for you to continue this vibrational activation journey. It's right there on your screen. Click it and I'll see you there. Your expansion can't stop here.